Good morning, Andrew.
Right. Hello, people. 15 minutes, that's bad. But we've had a day, guys. We've had a fucking day. I've just come from London, raced down. Honestly, I haven't done anything else apart from sit down and read the thing. So I've been as quick as I can. Can you lot get off my back? No, I'm not being defensive.
Right. I've been doing mortgage applications, gathering information. I'd had about 3 conversations about the North London derby, and we can do it again.
But this will be different. This will be different.
Just weirdly zen about it all, but we'll talk about it.
Are you? All right, let's go on. Let's go. You're weirdly zen about it. Oh God, I like this. This always feels like a therapy session every year when we do the North London derby chat. 5 years in now, this podcast. 5 years in.
Is it really that long? Last year, going into the North London derby, which isn't really North London derby, but we are where we are. Conte, that system, the way we played, it was just like, we're going to go to their swamp and we're going to play a certain way and it's going to be on top for 90 minutes. And I'm weirdly zen about this is because Tottenham Hotspur are a completely different entity. Now, don't get mistaken about what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're going to turn up at your place, we're going to turn you over. It ain't. No, I mean, in my wildest dreams, that would happen. But the reality is Tottenham are different to what people have become accustomed to us being over the last 4 years. And it will make for, I'm predicting, one of the greatest games in the Premier League this year. It could be the best game that you will see in the Premier League this year. At least it has all the ingredients for it to be the biggest game in the Premier League this year. Jim.
So I've just raced from doing Sunday Vibes with Joe Tomlinson, who you'll be seeing tomorrow, doing Saturday Social, aren't you? And Mr. Jalab. And we did Sunday Vibes, and then I've done a North London derby with those lads. Preview with those lads as well.
What are you saying?
Well, see, this is the thing. I sort of step into our arena, and what I'm fearful of is being two-faced. I don't want to be two-faced to you. Okay.
I would rather you be two-faced to me than say what I think you're about to say. Don't say it. Be two-faced. I'll never find out. If you cheat on your missus and you can get away with it, do you then go, actually, no, I've got to be honest? Of course not.
Okay. All right, fair enough. All right, well, here's a question I asked in that one. I wonder if you feel the same. Because I asked, like, 2 guys that, don't have a dog in the fight. It's not Samism, is it? Oh, by the way, there's there's a Samism in Sunday Vibes. And I sort of have a little look to camera. And so there's a little nugget for you guys to enjoy. I asked the question, is this the most electric game of football in the Premier League today? And they both kind of agreed.
I think it's the most watchable across the board because it's genuine rivalry where there have been certainly moments in the last 10 years we've had the upper hand in terms of league position and performing better. In the Premier League era, it's been largely Arsenal before that. But there is the hatred between Tottenham and Arsenal fans is like nothing else you get in football. I don't think.
That's it. I agree. I don't think
in the Premier League.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I mean, and people might say Liverpool and Manchester United. Yeah, but that's about football. It's about what goes on the pitch and you're being competing. And then there's actually that's not true as well. There's like a City rivalry as well because they're both up there and on the whatever is that body of water that is over there, Irish Sea.
Sure.
So look, I understand there are significant rivalries, but Tottenham and Arsenal is different. It's very real and for good reason. And I won't go into the reasons why, but they're the baddies and we're the goodies.
So and as you say, it's not a North London derby. What would you prefer to call it? We can call it that if you want.
Well, the Arsenal's derby is Palace. Ours is
Dulwich Hamlets, isn't it? Should be Dulwich Hamlets.
Dulwich Hamlets, yeah, Palace, that kind of thing. Yeah. This is just a game we play Arsenal.
Right.
It's not the North London derby is a myth, and the fact that they sing North London forever is the most ironic.
I wanted to ask you that.
It's
That's
absolute
good, isn't it?
bollocks.
It's good. It's good though, isn't it? You respect it.
Wait, no, no, it doesn't make any sense. North London
Yeah.
forever. No, well, no, not forever, because forever would mean your entirety of your existence. That's what forever means, all
Starting,
of it. When
forever
the reality
starting
is
now, isn't it? It's forever from now.
No, oh yeah, sorry. Now. I'll talk about now. Okay, you sure? Because your club does have a precedent to moving when it suits them.
Yeah.
You sure you're not going to move again? Are you sure? Yes, absolute bollocks. North London forever. What a fucking pile of shit.
Good question for Arsenal fans, actually. If you were to move again, where would you like to go?
I mean, they could go anywhere. They could end up anywhere. They could end up.
Do Arsenal fans? The thing that I find interesting about that element of it is that the Arsenal fans don't really fight it, do they? Do you know what I mean? There's a sort of like, there's no, or maybe I'm sure there will be now. There'll be comments now. Obviously, we are streaming live to our patrons right now. You can join us if you would like to. We do a mailbag each week as well. Links in the description. It'd be wonderful to have you. We are gently rising our numbers, which is wonderful. So maybe there's an Arsenal fan watching right now. What is the rebuttal to the fact that Arsenal isn't a North London club? Because actually that was a comment we had the other week where he said some people, when you're a fan, and I wonder if this is more of a modern phenomena, and you probably have this and have it quite well drilled into you, but you'll find new angles on it because you have to talk for a living for a long time, especially about Spurs, is that this guy was saying, like, does anyone have ready-made arguments / answers for arguments and debates that they're ready to go to?
What possibly could there be? What could there be?
For Arsenal? So I don't know. I know, I agree. I don't know.
And the thing is they say, well, we don't care about it. It doesn't bother us, whatever. Yeah. Or they go, well, you as Middlesex club or something like the point, that the fact that you actually try to move and actually destroy Fulham Football Club in the process, in moving to our area, the fact that the lines of London didn't exist back then isn't a rebuttal. It means nothing. We've stayed in the same place since our inception. Right.
Just a second. I'm overexposed, so I'm just going to bring my curtain down. So you keep talking.
Okay. The fact that if there are Arsenal fans out there that go, I don't care, then means that I don't have a huge amount of respect for you as football fans anyway. But if you're saying to me, we don't care about that, then I cannot respect you any less, because you're essentially saying the foundations of your football club mean nothing. You're saying your football club, from which it came, that fact means absolutely nothing to you. Therefore, the foundations of your football club mean nothing. And if they mean nothing then, they can mean absolutely less now. You can't just go, well, no, don't like that bit. We don't like that bit. Just ridiculous. And it's fine. It's fine. It is. And to be fair, I don't come across many Arsenal fans who go, oh, I don't care about it. They do come back with the Middlesex thing, which isn't really a thing. But I respect an Arsenal fan who just talking about what I said just a minute ago in terms of the when Spurs were formed, what is currently North London or London didn't exist. It was Middlesex. It was the county of Middlesex. Since then, London has become bigger and the boundaries have changed and everything's moved. And then North London exists in its current state. The point of my argument to that would be, we haven't moved a dot. You've moved all over the place and tried to eat up football clubs on your way. Terrible football club. Terrible football club.
What have we got here? Stoker Pops with an unwritten rule. Got a couple of other unwritten rules. One was actually we said last week, but I think you might have said it, but we'll just confirm it. He said if your derby kickoff time doesn't have to be moved by the police, it isn't 100%. A real derby.
100%. That is a belter. Yeah, of course it is. What kind of derby gets kicked off at 5:30? If your derby is a 5:30 kickoff on a Saturday, then that ain't real.
That suits the agenda of Luke as a Birmingham fan, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, as a Birmingham fan. What's happening up there? Is something happening up there, Birmingham?
Birmingham. Well, quite possibly. Hopefully soon to be derailed, all being well, by the Super Hoops, who are playing Birmingham tomorrow. Saturday with 10 men. Tuesday, Friday, right? Let me just say that again. Saturday with 60 minutes, 10 men. Tuesday night, Friday night. Okay? So when we get this bit this moment later in the season where it's too many games and you've got a 26-man squad built up of players that cost around 500 plus million, don't come to me about being tired, all right? Because we've got children playing for us and we're just getting on with it, as are most EFL clubs. So,
yeah.
Oh, no, more games. What about the play? Shut up.
Stoke Pop says on the we've lost 2 in a row now. Has Eustace got to go? What the hell's a Eustace when he's at home? What's a Eustace?
It's it's a sort of like, it's a Brummy like fan base thing. Like they have this like drum. They have this like set of 4 people with drums called the Eustace, and they'll like every year they'll start off, but it's like, have you not heard about this? It's like a really superstitious thing where there's like they have 4 drummers, the Eustace.
Yeah,
and they'll have these 4 drummers, and they'll be drumming away. And but once they lose, I don't think it's if they lose one. Luke will probably be able to say this. Once they've lost 2 games, or it's either like 1 game or 3 games on the bounce, or not 1 in 3, the band stops.
Got to go.
So the drummer, so he's saying the Eustace needs to stop. The Eustace,
right? I get it. So Eustace is the problem.
The Eustace is a problem. So because they've been having a good season, so normally the band gets about 4 games in. And that's it. I can't believe you haven't heard about this before.
No,
it gets about 4 games in, and Birmingham mid-table. So that it's not going well, and they sort of stop the Eustace, but because they've been doing better, they haven't done that. So Luke, I mean, hopefully QPR will shut you all up and all the drummers.
Eustace back.
Yeah.
Jim, can I ask you a question?
Can I go on the last thing that we've done before though? Just before we get to this question,
okay.
with the sort of North London forever. Do you rate it though? You got to respect it as an understanding of the needle being sort of just like, like we used to talk about referees saying it like you're lost, or you know what you're saying. So with the North London is red.
I'd be surprised.
North London, was it North London forever? Do you rate that element of it in terms of it winding up Tottenham fan? Because it's quite potent in that sense when it is pushing on the nerve of.
Yeah. No. Of course. You got to respect the. I mean, if that's what it is, like if that is essentially what they're trying to do, and this is their anthem is a dig at Spurs because we obviously living inside their heads, then I rate it. Like I rate that pettiness.
Well done.
I do.
That was good.
I good. Like and look and if that's fair play. Like I'd say bravo. Yeah. It is jarring because it's the shame of it is a shame. Really.
So you would appreciate if you would hope that they could be better than that. Because I know you've been disappointed about having rubbish rivals in the past.
Yeah, they're the worst.
And they are your rivals, aren't they? Of that you'll allow, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, there is no greater hatred in my heart than for Arsenal Football Club. Yeah. But is this my question, Jim? Is this?
Go on.
It's more important for them, bigger for them, isn't it? This right? Because
I thought you were going to ask something else there. Go on.
Well, go on. You answer. I'm asking you. Is this game bigger, more important to Arsenal to win than Tottenham?
Should we take a trip to the? We always like to have a little look at the table. So Man City, you'd expect Arsenal to be higher, wouldn't you? Oh, they're the same points, to be fair. Wow, this is a belter of a game, isn't it? That is a belter. It is. Ding dong. Do you wish it was I will answer your question. Do you wish it was away from it was at home?
Yeah. Obviously, we don't. Like, we've won once there. We won once there in the league in 20 years or something. Like it's 2011. So we won in the League Cup as well. But yeah, of course, like the home game with your fans. It's
okay. But if I said to you have to play them away at one point. But when do you want your home game against them? Would you rather take your away game now with the form that you're in, or the home game?
I think where Spurs are, and it kind of asks, this goes some way to answering the question I asked you, which is it bigger for them or more important for them? I would say it doesn't really matter, but getting the away tie out of the leg getting the away leg out of the way now is probably getting is probably preferable, right?
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and I say this because where Spurs are now is embryonic, right? We're at the start of something. What happens in this game, it has absolutely zero bearing on where Tottenham Hotspur are going. Whereas, and I don't think that's an outlandish thing to say. We're 5 games into Postecoglou's reign at Tottenham. We are 4 years into Arteta's project. 739 million pounds spent on Arteta players.
Was it fierce?
Postecoglou's yeah. So we're in a situation where Postecoglou's having to deal with the fact that we've sold our best ever player at the start of his career, buying all these new players, try and make it work. At the moment, what we're seeing at Spurs is fantastic, but it's nothing. It's just the start. This is just what we're building. And this game, if you take away the importance of the North London derby and the importance between both sets of fans and how much we want to win it, for the historical relevance of the fixture, if you take that away, playing a team as good as Arsenal doesn't really matter to Spurs at this stage. It doesn't show us anything about it. Even if we get drubbed 4-0, 3-0, but playing in Postecoglou's way, that's more important than playing a low block and trying to sneak a win. I'd rather us continue this path of where we're at and trying to figure out how we're going to play. And this is the mentality and the ethos of which we conduct ourselves when we're playing a football match, regardless of our opposition. I'd rather that, like dying on your feet rather than on your knees that we did under Conte. So win, lose or draw, it doesn't matter greatly in terms of what Tottenham are doing as a football club right now. Whereas Arsenal, I think it's a big indicator of where they are this season if they get beat by Spurs.
I don't disagree. A couple of people saying, is this an epic reframe from Flav? I've got a cheeky epic reframe, but I'm not sure if I believe yet. But we can explore. We can explore. It's a question. Tom saying
how I'm reframing. Explain it.
No, so Tom says, is this an epic reframe from Flav? And he's saying not that I disagree. So he's not disagreeing.
Reframing from what?
From like the fact that this is a massive game that the biggest, the most horrible, the bile in terms of byproducts when it comes to derbies is the bragging rights element of it. Like to lose you have to stomach all that crap, right?
Mate,
so you can't lose that. But in terms of what you're saying, I think that's completely valid. What you're saying,
it's fair. It's a fair thing. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying if Arsenal beat us, it won't hurt me as a Tottenham fan.
Yeah,
of course it will. And if they beat us, I'll take my medicine and I will say nothing and accept any abuse, of which there'll be plenty, that I receive. And that is your job. If you get the game.
That's your job.
The game. It's your job. If you get beaten by your rivals, I remember this. We did a Fighting Cock social, right? And this lad came up to me after the game. Arsenal had just beaten us 2-0. And I think it might have been under Pochettino. I can't remember exactly. And he went, what do we do? What do we do now? Because we've been on a run of not losing to him. And I went, you bend over and take it. Yeah. This is your job now. You can't. Yeah, you can't. There's no. You beat us. You were the better team on the day, and that's it. You just take it. That you have to. If you start arguing back, you look like an idiot.
Yeah, I agree. I had a similar feeling. So we drew with Swansea on Tuesday, and again, they're fucking trying their hardest. They're trying, Flav. They are trying. I'd love to come to a game with you, just so for you to come to a QPR game with me, just so I can go look how hard they're working. They are.
The QPR players.
They're working so bloody hard. And it's so funny because Ainsworth was going, they're going to give everything. I want them to give everything. And he kept saying, give everything. And you're like, shut up. Stop giving everything. Give me some points, right? And so we got like a last minute equaliser. And I was sitting there thinking, I said, when's the last time I've watched us win at home? And
when was it?
It was November.
What? November we beat 2022?
Yeah.
You haven't seen your team win at home in 10 months, effectively.
Yes.
Nearly 11 months.
Yes.
What have you won since then? It's just that you haven't seen
I wasn't there. I was at a wedding. At my mate's wedding, Owen's wedding. Yeah, because I was like, I swear we haven't won. This is getting close to a year, isn't it? This was on Saturday, and Dad said, no, we're at Watford. I wasn't at Watford. And he just chortled at me. And so I was sat there thinking, like you're saying, in terms of just having to stomach it. I was thinking, I was honestly just in my head, I was like, am I going to do this? Am I going to do this forever? Like, what if this went on what if we just went on for another year, where we could, like, it could legitimately, easily carry on for another year, right? Right? And then, but at the same time, they're working so hard.
Bloody hard.
They're working, mate. Honestly, they're working so hard, but we're just not getting the breaks. We played 3 home games, and every time I can see
for a year though, Jim.
No. Last year, see, that's the thing with Ainsworth, and people will have a go at him, and they'll create stats that don't work, that aren't fair. Because last year and this year, like we probably had more quality last year than we do have right now. Pretty sure we do, and we have an incredibly thin squad, and we are playing children, but they're giving everything. They're working so hard, and I'm like, I'm really enjoying watching this. Like, at least I can't believe it. Maybe my like bar has dropped so low, and unfortunately it's far enough away from the end of the season that both of us can kind of be, because like if you're like 6th, and okay, when it's 6th in March, it's like, okay, now's the time for points. Like I couldn't care less about performances. It's about points. But right now, 5 games in, kind of performances is enough to a point. And we got a draw, and we did like a last minute equaliser. Like, we've not scored many goals down my end, obviously, as well. But yeah, I was sitting there just going, when they win, I'm just going to be like, what are we?
That's what I'm saying.
What do we do?
Do you go to the games expecting anything other than a draw or a loss?
I expect the thick. That's what I expect. And I can't wait for some thin.
I love that you're finding positives in this. They're bloody working hard.
Mate, they're working their nuts off. And the final whistle went, and they all fell to the ground. And I thought,
couldn't they do that if they wasn't tired? I better fall over and pretend I'm tired.
I think it's a very I think it's a very personal thing in terms of the ability to allow it to be about how hard you're trying, or if you're just like I imagine that's something Man United fans are going through right now, where it's like because I have other excuses. We have no money. Like we had, this sending off. The quality's not there, so they have to give everything to give ourselves a chance. And then sometimes you've just not got the quality. But like for Man United, it must be so confusing.
Well, no, but James, these sound like legitimate concerns and issues that you're having to deal with, and you haven't seen your team win at home for a year. And you've got Man United fans losing their shit and narrowly losing to Bayern Munich. It's like, it's perspective here.
Bit of perspective.
You could be QPR.
I think that's it. I think like when we're doing this job, like I think the all you can do is attempt to provide context, because most things aren't. 2 things can be true. Who said that? Someone said that recently. And I thought that was really good. And with Man United, people kind of losing their mind for them conceding goals, and certain goals were really poor. But that Man United team is no way near good enough to beat Bayern Munich. Like, facts.
No, they
facts.
Did all right.
Yeah, it's just because of the name that's on the door. If that makes sense. It's wrong. That's savage.
In terms of the biggest the clubs in trouble, I know we did like 20 minutes on it last week, but the stuff coming out is worrying. 4 players ignored Fernandes. Ten Hag blanks Onana. It's like those are storylines you do not want to read, because it kind of feels like the writing's on the wall there to some degree.
Can I show you 2 thumbnails that like I was like, I sort of laughed, and then I was like, you're a child. Like, grow up. Right?
Yeah.
Let me just share. So I clicked on it and laughed, and then I scrolled a bit higher up. I don't think I clicked on it. I just looked at it. I went to see I quite like Howson's opinion on games. And I went to
rock bottom.
But the thing that initially made me laugh, that was the second thing that made me laugh, Oh, bless him. Look, let me scroll him. Look.
Yeah,
He's fuming.
that's the face of it.
But see if you can see which thumbnail really made me giggle, and because I'm a child.
He's the leaker. Does that mean what does that mean?
And then I started like making things like they all became a bit sexual somehow. Crumbled at the end. Who's the leaker?
Is that what you...
Look at his face as well. Look at his face. Who's the leaker?
Yeah. The crumbled at the end. Is that your euphemism? Is that what you say when you empty?
When you crumble,
I've crumbled.
I've crumbled. Sorry. Yeah, just
Sorry,
like,
love,
30, I've just come. 30 seconds. Yeah, 30 seconds after a disappointing performance. Sorry, love, I crumbled at the end.
I mean, look, these... Sorry, what was you going to say?
Well, I just found his face funny. Who's the leaker?
Yeah,
and he's going.
There's a leaker out there.
It's like he's had a. That could be a very different video. I nearly took a picture and put it on Twitter and going, "What's this? What's the title of this video? Wrong answers only." Who's the leaker? So we've had a gangbang here, and someone here, someone's leaking, and it ain't me because I crumbled at the end. Yeah,
I can't think of the word gangbang without having severe flashbacks to Tottenham's.
Oh, before you go somewhere else, there. Go on.
Well, you know, I've talked about this. I'm not going to go over it again, but you know that the reason why Tottenham didn't win the league in the Leicester season was because of a racist gangbang.
Yes, I know that because you've been pushing that as an episode for the ripple effect since we started. What was I going to say?
God, can you not just speak to Spotify to see if they'll allow it? Because it is a legitimate ripple effect.
I know it is. I'm not saying it isn't. I'm not doing an episode on it. All right. Imagine when Nigel Pearson loses the Bristol City job and he's just looking to do a bit of media just to keep his face out there. Hi, Nigel. Lovely to have you. Really excited to have a chat about all your successes. But I'm gonna have to start.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
Jim, the boys are talking about Tom Jordan, as mentioned. Sorry, more Luke actually is Anana's good, but is he good?
Great question. Great
Is
question.
He? Clearly, he's good. Like he was rated number one goalkeeper in Italy. Yeah. Been rated since the Ajax days, right?
Yeah, he's undoubtedly good.
But there is something about him. You just think, are you starting to believe in your own hype a little bit? Is like, have you lost sight of what you are?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? I know stats won't tell you this, but do you know what I mean?
No. So here's my take on Onana. My take is this. So the problem for Onana is several-fold, right? Let's start on the kind side of it all. My take is that. So if you put him in the Man City team, or probably the Tottenham team, or the Brighton team, and let's leave it at those three, right? Three really possession-heavy teams that want to kind of retain the tempo to a point, want to sort of get people to sort of suck them in and crumble them at the end. Onana would be like doing really well. And also, again, if he was at Man City in particular or Brighton, probably wouldn't be facing that many shots or chances, right? And those chances, who knows what they would be like, right? So, but in the Man United team, he's the wrong, we're talking about goalkeepers and should you play Raya or Ramsdale? Should we substitute goalkeepers, whatever it might be? And we're starting to see like more and more profiles of goalkeepers. Onana, his profile is for what Man United want to become, not what they currently are or are going through right now. So he is a goalkeeper, like his assets aren't really being utilised totally because you need other parts to help with all of that, right? In terms of his saves, he's made one howler, isn't he? Has he made more than one howler?
Well, the one yesterday was about as bad. Well,
yeah.
De Gea got thrown off under the bus last year. That howler against Brentford is exactly the same.
Yeah, I think the data set's different with those two. But he did it time and again. He's done it again. And so it is, but it was his fault. Like losing that game is like, if you're breaking up the percentages, I would say 27% is down to him because they were doing all right. The game plan I thought was pretty sound. They were. It was the first goal, and it killed them. It killed them, absolutely, especially away from home. But here's the other thing. So 2 things. One, I think the hype around Onana when he came in before the season started, I thought it was miles over the top. In terms of he is going to transform this team, I thought it was miles over the top. And so there's a drop off from that, right? The second thing, and I say this again on Sunday Vibes, so forgive me because I've come straight from that. He's a very noisy goalkeeper, and the comparison I said, he's not Van der Sar, he's Barthez. He's quite loud.
Yes,
it's quite dramatic. Like the game against Arsenal when like they score, it's too much for me. And then when he like concedes the goal, and again people are going to go in the comments and go, what about Ramsdale? What about Pickford? Whatever. They're too loud. They're probably too loud as well. So like you're going to kind of go after those kind of goalkeepers, the ones that are a bit less zen, because I don't know, it's a slightly less trustworthy visual to deal with.
Well,
and when he makes some mistakes, he's got his head down for ages, hasn't he?
Yeah,
so it's all a bit loud. It's all a bit loud.
Well, there is a saying: it's the emptiest vessels make the most noise. And the problem with making that much noise is that when you make a mistake, it's magnified because you have put yourself into that position of being very loud, so people notice you.
Yeah.
If he just got on with his football, then but then he probably wouldn't have got to the point he is in his career if he didn't have that mentality.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, you go to Manchester United, and the expectation and your reputation is magnified beyond what your ability is as a footballer. I think a massive case in point would be Casemiro. They bought him. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to sort all these problems out. Do you remember that narrative last season? Casemiro arriving,
which he kind of did.
He absolutely did, right? They were much better once he arrived. But you think now that he looks normal, like actually an average central midfielder, that narrative doesn't disappear. How people view you doesn't disappear. So the minute, as naturally happens as you get older, you start to make mistakes that you weren't making 3 or 4 years ago. Once that's happened, people are still going, well, hang on, what's happened to Casemiro? Has he fallen off? And actually, he's probably playing about average of his ability right now. It's just there was this massive media narrative about him. Don't worry, Man United, I'm coming to save you. Real Madrid let you go because they knew they were bringing in a much better prospect. I guess you could call him that compared to Casemiro's career.
Can I ask you a question? Here's a question.
Yeah,
because I'm so on the narrative. Faisal said this, which is quite interesting. So it's 2 questions wrapped in one, right? So first of all, I'm struggling with, say, like Casemiro and Martinez, who are struggling a little bit, but you're kind of asking them to make everyone around them much better. So kind of, there's several questions here. So first question is like, in the modern game at the highest level, can you deal with losing those kind of players? Can you do it on your own a little bit and bring people in and kind of fix it for you at the highest level? That's the first one. But the second thing that kind of contradicts it is that, so like all these players are out for Man United. It's like 12 players. So that's going to make it really hard. It's also going to put a lot of pressure on the players that are still standing. But Tottenham or Brighton, if they lose, and they made 5 changes or 6 changes or something from the Brighton to Man United game, brought in players like Lallana, who's like 33 now or something. Everyone thought he was finished, and yet still like trounced Man United. So like, can you like in terms of how important injuries are to a team? Where's the line between you're a manager who should have a system in place that allows you to get around this, and how much of it's just like you have to accept that when players aren't there, you're not going to be as good?
I think Yeah. I mean, the obvious thing is if you're losing 12 players, then your performances on the pitch are going to be impacted. But football doesn't forgive you for that, and the criticisms of your players that you have to play, even though because your squad is somewhat decimated, results in criticism and a narrative that probably isn't fair. But that's football, and as a manager, you have to deal with it. Certainly, a manager of a club like Manchester United, because these stories like Fernandes was being ignored and he didn't speak to Onana now become central to what your club is in this moment. So it's unfortunate that you have injuries and you have to deal with that. But football doesn't give a shit about your problems. And the narratives around your football club won't go. There's nothing interesting in saying, "Oh, poor old United. They haven't got all their players playing." Like, who cares? What you actually say is, "Look, what's wrong with where they are right now." So I'll take you back to something where we beat Arsenal 2 years ago. It feels like that now. 3-0 at YR Lane. They had injuries to, I think it's Gabriel. They basically had a makeshift back line. Tomiyasu, I think, may have played in centre back. Rob Holding started, got sent off. No one gave a shit about it. They just said Arsenal got battered, when in reality there was probably a mitigating circumstances that enabled that drubbing to take place.
Yeah.
But football doesn't care, and nor should it.
Right.
It won't care.
I'm not sure you give me an answer there.
What was the answer?
Okay. How much? I don't know. Maybe people can. I don't know. I don't think my question was convoluted as well, so I don't think that helps. I'm trying to figure out, like, maybe it's a percentage thing. Like, how much should the system be able to override?
Only to so
the
much.
Individuals, because injuries obviously
can only do so much.
Yeah, because if you take out a certain amount of players, it's going to hurt you, right? Like Liverpool, Van Dijk, or like whoever that team might be, and who those players are. Like, if you don't have Basuma, you're like, how much would the
massively?
How much would you alleviate any kind of blame on Postecoglou if you lost someone like Basuma?
Yeah,
you see what I mean?
Yes, so I would do that. I would do that on the podcast. If Basuma gets injured in the warm up, which, like, we always have something mental before a North London derby, so I wouldn't count it out. But yeah, if Basuma got injured, then without him, we are obviously going to be a different person because he is that good. So I would use that as a way of softening the blow to losing to Arsenal. But I wouldn't expect Arsenal fans to give a shit about that or listen to me about that, because they don't care. I don't care. If Erdegaard does his hamstring and doesn't play, we beat him. I don't care. Anyway, to answer your question, some of the blame gets alleviated from Postecoglou, but you have to look at what he did with Celtic, and they're saying, well, Celtic under Postecoglou did no good in the Champions League, got knocked out pretty much straight away, I think. But there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. The Champions League. I don't like that. Brendan Rodgers gets this as well. Like, if you're unwritten rule, if you're a Scottish football team manager playing in the Champions League, your record is not a reflection of your abilities as a manager, in my opinion.
Absolutely not, because the challenge is so much more difficult.
Yeah.
Like I mean, look, a case in point. If again,
just people hammer Brendan Rodgers for that.
Yeah, they do, but they shouldn't. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's mental.
Because their disadvantages in the Champions League are insane. Like the Feyenoord, I don't know if you watched the Celtic Feyenoord game last week. I did. I watched all of it. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but I sat down to watch Feyenoord.
You watched the whole game?
Yeah, I watched start to finish. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I watched Palace Everton the other day as well.
What is going on? Where am I?
I don't know. I've been doing, Jim. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you a secret?
Do you watch these other teams and go, because Tottenham are doing well right now?
No, because I watched Villa and I thought, wow. And
good?
Everton and Palace have actually been. Yeah, they're good. They're good. I mean, good is relative, but yeah, they are good.
Are they good? Are they Champions League?
What we? No, I'm saying they're. I mean. Top six good. Top six good?
Yeah.
Top six good?
What is good?
Yeah.
What is good?
Yeah. I mean, the thing is,
I had them six.
What's
I had them six above you.
Did you? Yeah. I mean, I'd rate it. The thing about this is, I'm getting some stick from Tom and saying, Flav always loved football in September. I did last September because we were all right. I've actually been watching football, and we talked about this at the tail end of last season when Spurs were shit. I watched so much football at the end of last season. I don't know what's happened. Maybe I'm seeing things that I didn't see before, or what it is. But I am in love with the sport at the moment.
Frightening.
When Postecoglou managed Australia, he won the Asia Cup, first time in their history. He won the Asia Cup with them. That is representative of his quality, because he was in a competition that everyone was They weren't the favourites to win, but he had a good team. He went to the World Cup and, took them to the World Cup twice, I think. Didn't do anything because Australia cannot. There are facts about these things, and it's all about the players fundamentally. Eventually,
Yeah,
and quality will beat a lesser side.
that's what I think people are getting me wrong with the Newcastle thing, where I'm kind of going. I'm saying that I don't think they'll do that great this year. The reason I don't think they'll do that great this year overall is because there's just a lot going on, and it's like that's hard, And so for the Champions League, that's that.
Newcastle don't. They've had a really tough start, right? But aren't they supposed to be like a top 4 club? A tough start isn't.
I think they're in the conversation, but I'm not sure they are just yet. I still think.
No, but they finished in the top 4. No, hang on. They finished in the Champions League places last year. They are in the Champions League. You cannot excuse them for a tough start. They have to be competing and winning and getting points in these games, right? Why are they getting a grace period? Is what I'm asking.
Because
I might be wrong. I probably am.
No,
wrong.
I think the reason they're getting a bit of a grace period is because I think they overperformed last year. I think a lot of the players in that team overperformed, and I also think they had less noise, and by that I mean the games they played, Brighton, Man City. So ready for an epic reframe? It's going to piss you off.
Go on, then. Go on. No, it won't, because I think I know where you're going, and I'm already agreeing with you.
Right, because Tottenham haven't played anyone so far this season, and they're quite possibly being.
What, so Man United, is that they're not big? They're not a big club.
Right. Well, let's just epic reframe it, shall we? Let's have a little look. Right. Sheffield United, fodder, right?
Battered them for 90 minutes. Battered them.
Yeah, snuck a win with two incredibly late goals.
I'm gonna be quiet and let you reframe all of this, right? I'm gonna be quiet and not say a word. But just quickly, I did see someone saying this is the way football fans talk about these things. Tottenham went life and death with Sheffield United. we battered them for 102 minutes.
That is not you being quiet, okay?
Right, all right. I'm quiet. I'm quiet.
That is not you being quiet. So the epic reframe here, if you want to say it, is that so far Tottenham have quite possibly, you're not going to like this, Tom, and I don't think this is true. So this is one epic reframe, is that you've actually played 1, 2, 3. You may have played in your, how many games is it? 6, right? Is it 6 so far?
Yeah, that's Carabao Cup, the Fulham one.
Oh, forget Fulham then. So you've played possibly the bottom. You could say bottom 3 of the bottom 5, right? Say something like that. Quite possibly by the end of the season, Sheffield United could be bottom, Burnley could be in the bottom 3, Bournemouth could be in the bottom 5. Okay.
Yeah.
Brentford are a mid-table team, and Man United are in utter disarray with 12 players out. Can't find a right winger. So you've not actually played anyone. That's the epic reframe.
Finish reframing, all right.
And you're about to step into a bit of a train wreck, if that makes any sense.
Okay, no, I understand what you're saying.
You get hit by a train. There you go.
Look, if we hadn't dominated all of those games, bar a few 10-minute spells here and there, I'd be more worried. I'd be a little bit concerned that it was an easy start. We've creeped over the line in these results. It doesn't really mean much. Similar to what Conte had last year. We've battered them all.
Yeah.
And
okay. So with this in mind, right? Let's say you had Newcastle's games. This is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, I know.
I know what. So Newcastle's games so far, they played. So in terms of teams they've played so far this season, right? They've played Aston Villa, Man City, Liverpool, Brighton, Brentford, and AC Milan. See what I mean?
Yeah, of course. I understand. That is tough. Look, yeah, how many points have we got out of that? I think, look, we don't count because this is just the start.
Embryonic.
Your embryonic stage.
That's your out in it. That's an out. This is a good bit for the podcast.
Newcastle, everyone had us 10th, finishing 10th. Everyone had us finishing 10th.
This is what I want. So a couple of things. Moments when you crumbled at the end of anything, I would like to read about that. Also, outs. So an out for a Spurs fan right now, regardless of the result in this game, is that we're at an embryonic stage. Don't worry about it. It was just at the start.
Postecoglou warned us of a rocky first 6 months. He said, "Look, this isn't going to be easy. This is going to be difficult."
What else
There'll
are you
be
going to
times
say?
where this.
What else are you going to say?
But
Someone made a comment
he
about
also
that.
said-
Go on.
Go on. Well, I'm just saying that. What else is he going to say? He's also said, let Spurs fans dream if they want to dream. Who am I to temper their expectations?
Right. Because someone said that there was a comment, I didn't put it in, but someone said something about the reason why Arsenal fans aren't like putting themselves in that kind of title contender conversation is because Arteta's told us that we're ahead of schedule. And so we know there's more to come. And I'm like, what? Of course, the tempering of expectations from a manager is like obviously going to happen. Like,
of course, they have to do that.
Be it before you've got a data set that's been impressive or any kind of success, you'll go, look, it could be tough. It's okay. So just make sure you like get yourself ready for that.
Yeah, don't scream at me if this doesn't work.
Yeah, but also on the other side of when you've done something well, you go, well, we're pretty far ahead of schedule, so it could.
Do you think that Arteta was saying that you haven't, we're ahead of schedule? You haven't seen everything yet, and what he was talking about was subbing keepers mid-game often. Is that his next thing? Is it?
Maybe, yeah. I think
what is he? That reaction to the guy asking him, saying, "Who's your number one? Who's your number two?" Which is a completely legitimate question because no one knows. You've got two first-choice goalkeepers, right? So both of those keepers could play for another Premier League team and be their number one the entire season. So it's a legitimate question for a journalist to say, "Who's your number one?" And he goes, "Well, Fabio Vera. What number is he?" And you heard the journalist go, "What? That's a weird thing to say."
What?
What? Did you hear him? You went, "What?"
I'd love it if reporters had a little bit more bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Just a bit more backbone. Sorry, then go like, what do you mean? That doesn't make sense.
That was a stupid answer.
Okay, that's
no sense.
Do you want to take this again? We can cut this bit out. Do you want to actually? You haven't answered my question.
Yeah,
that'd be good. Just by the way, Tom Jordan, what I've seen on several things now, you just keep going on about getting a draw against Brentford. And like, I don't know if this is an epic reframe for Bournemouth right now because you're getting a little bit nervy because Bournemouth I'm like totally kicked off.
What is it Bournemouth fan Tom Jordan's talking about?
I think Tom. So Tom, all I want to know is if like, are you going to let me have this? Right? I feel like Tom, like us all, and we kind of coined this phrase this week, me and Quecker, of like the hipster lean. Like sometimes, like a take can be like you're just sort of dropping you're sort of leaning into the hipster take, right? And so the start of the season, the sort of hipster take or the hipster lean would be Bournemouth or Burnley doing really well this season, and I've gone on that hipster lean.
Yeah.
And Tom's obviously, it's not a hipster lean. This is his club, and he's just showing optimism, right? And yet, so you get a couple of games in, you haven't won one yet. Yeah, you're sort of going, what? You're sort of looking around, going, right. You're sort of looking in the fridge. You're going, what are we cooking here? I've got 3 draws against mid-table teams. Where we would say unbeaten. Could we say unbeaten?
Yeah, not losses, are they?
Yeah, it's like we'll make an unbeaten. Yeah, let's make an unbeaten. So just quickly fry up an unbeaten. And we're all right.
I'm interested from Bournemouth fans and Tom to have you seen enough to think that you absolutely cannot get embroiled in the relegation fight, or do you have enough in terms of the players and the lots of money you've spent, the amount of money you spent plus the very good reputation of a young manager? Have you seen enough in your style of play in the first 5 games, which is, like you say, like you're in a similar situation to Tottenham. No one should be judging you. Well, we won a couple of games. Everyone wants to beat us and desperate for us to lose.
So Tom's just screamed in the chat, I'm rattled. Get our fixtures up. So we can do that. What I would say, again, maybe we can epic reframe. Let's epic reframe this in any way you'd like to, Tom. Feel free to come into the Discord if you want to.
Tom, come into the Tom. Tom, come into the Tom. Come into the Tom.
Do you want?
Tom, come in because I'd love to talk to you about this, like about Bournemouth. Come into the chat. Let's break this down. I want to figure out what's going on in Bournemouth and try and help you out a little bit because you're all over the place at the moment.
Can I chuck in a possible epic reframe here with the idea? To be fair, West Ham, Liverpool, Tottenham.
Oh, well, sorry. Suddenly now, what Tottenham are? What are Tottenham? The 10th place side, mid-table team, or are we champions?
Mate, this is what we're scrabbling about trying to find. What I would
it's-
say,
a lot of confused
say,
people around.
what I would say is this: you've got to be beating Chelsea at home. You've got to be beating Chelsea at home. This, in 2023, you've got to be beating Chelsea.
Do you know what Chelsea could do with someone like Anana? Someone who's just screaming and like make it about them. There's no personalities in that Chelsea team. It's just a hodgepodge of young, talented players, and there's very little leadership or quality. No, there's bundles of quality. There's very little structure and leadership there, it seems.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought about Chelsea this week? Was like,
Even from Silva, you'd expect.
Are we going to lose a whole generation of like great footballers just because they're going to get eaten up by the situation they're in? As
Chelsea?
As in the fact that like they just cannot
I think
get
there'll
out
be a
of
lot
the
of talent being picked up for
quicksand.
cheap.
Really?
I think there'll be a lot of talent in the couple of years. Chelsea will have to be turning over players. They have to, right? So there'll be a lot of decent talent that people can pick up. Maybe Bournemouth might be able to pick up a couple. Tom, where are you? Come on.
I'm not sure he's coming in. Do you know what I'd love to see
Isn't
do
over,
well?
no.
Callum Hudson-Odoi. Just fingers in mouths. Shut up. Should have fucking played me. You too, Bayern Munich. Anyway.
What? Did he go there? Oh, here he is.
He's got a screamer
Here
as
he
well.
is. Yeah, I saw that.
But
So,
next
Tom,
game,
go on.
Brighton away as well.
Oh, mate, that's. I
it's
mean, look,
tough
if they don't lose, they're Brighton next, right? If they don't lose to Brighton, I'd say that is a great start for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
What
True.
are you saying, Tom?
They've hung in there. Is Tom going to
I
speak?
mean, I think it's already a great start, to be honest.
It's a great start. Is it a great start? He's gone great.
It's a
start.
6
Right,
out.
the floor's
Did you go
yours,
back-
Tom. What are you saying?
Right, go back to the top. Let's look for our results this season. So we start off
Is this it?
and we play West Ham. Right, West Ham. So West Ham, until they play Man City, had won every single football match. Didn't beat us.
All right, good.
Yeah. Then we went to Anfield. We lost 9-0 there last year, and obviously Anfield, we're not expecting anything. We were
Progress.
close in that game. We had chances.
Yeah.
It wasn't a bad display. I did watch it. I thought Bournemouth were hard done by.
Then we played Ange Ball, greatest team on the planet. What do you expect?
Right. Oh,
Then
and
we go
that's
to the
it.
cup.
Yep.
And
Won that.
teams that can't win the league, as Flav knows, should really go for cups. So what a cup run! On a cup run.
Fair play.
Good.
Still
we
in
go
the
to
cup.
Brentford.
Not Ange.
I'll tell you what. Well, Ange went to Brentford and got a really impressive 2-2 draw. Same as us.
Yeah.
And then, the Chelsea Play Football Manager side they want. They couldn't score. They just couldn't score. So I think we'll get something at Brighton. They won't be up for it. We'll scare them. We'll beat them.
Are you winning the draw league? Oh, you're joint top.
Oh, we might be actually.
Yeah, you're joint top of the draw league at the moment with Brentford.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Oh, and
That's
Villa.
That's what you want.
Tom, have you seen enough
Oh, no, hang on, I'm getting
to
confused.
suggest that you will absolutely not be relegated this year, Tom?
Yeah, I mean, it's joking aside, it's hard to say that because you're always a little bit anxious because you never know. But I've seen a lot more progress in terms of the way we're playing and going for teams, and it is, they are horrible fixtures. We did expect
They are tough fixtures.
to be to be honest, I expected to be in the bottom three after these fixtures. I just can't. It's a dangerous thing to say, but I can't see us not being better than 3 teams. Off what I've seen, I just can't. And
I think
we've got obviously Brighton away, then Arsenal. So the next 2 are horrible.
He's
But then
a horrendous start
Yeah,
you've
but
had.
yeah, so look at the table right now. Tottenham played them, Liverpool played them, Arsenal in the next 2, Brighton in the next 2, West Ham played them.
yeah,
Sorry,
It
but
couldn't get any more difficult.
as I
apart
say,
from Man City.
got to be beating Chelsea at home. You've got to be beating Chelsea.
I think it will be after these next 2. Then we have, I think it's Everton, Burnley, and Wolves back to back. So, and in a weird way, I think when you're going through something new and a new manager, it's probably better to get the games out of the way that you're not expected to anyway, and we'll be a bit further down the road. In the
I
game.
quite like that. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
No, I can't. Free
Agree.
cheers for Bournemouth. Hip hip.
I agree.
All
I
right.
agree. I mean,
Hip, hip, hooray.
this is the most airtime Bournemouth have had in a long, long time.
I know, yeah. Tom Jordan out of the shadows there. Still didn't see his face, sadly.
Was it described that little boy sitting behind Paul Mason?
I The camera's too high. You just can't see me. That's all.
One day.
Yeah,
You just
right,
got
let's-
to push
let's-
it.
Good
let's
work,
Push
stop
it out of the
Tom.
way.
chat
Good
now.
work.
Andy forwards. Cheers,
Can
Tom.
we stop football chat? Thank you.
Stop forward. Yeah, people getting fed up with football chat. Okay, let's move on. No football chat, they say. No football chat. Okay. All right, so a couple of new bits. Crumbled at the end. We've established that one. Sweet spots. So this came from our mailbag yesterday. And you were saying that your best podcast work is done after 3 sips of a drink. But that drink is still chilled and in your hand. That's when you're at your best.
Yeah, I think so.
So something to put out into the comments. We would like to know what are some sweet spots for different things. For example, one thing that popped into my head. I read this thing the other day and it was saying that apparently, in Asian culture, I'm not sure which country in particular, they say that you should stop eating when you're 80% full. What would you suggest is your sweet spot of being full? Oh, now I'm not talking buffet. That's different. That's sort of competitive. You're gonna need a bigger plate. But
Yeah, I got. I wouldn't like to. That seems too sensible for me. I eat until I can't stop.
Do you know, sometimes I get really confused if I have a meal at a nice place and I have a 3-course meal and all 3 courses are quite small. I'm sort of disappointed throughout, and then at the end I don't feel ill, and I'm kind of like, oh.
Oh. Can I get a case in point? There's a great Sunday roast near where I live, and you get your roast and you eat it, and then they just come over and you're like, fuck, I'm full, right? And then the waitress or the waiter will come over and go, more potatoes, sir? And I'm like, yeah. And then or it'd be like greens and more gravy. Yeah, go on. Because what, are you going to say no? Like some sort of fucking idiot?
Yeah.
No, you're going to eat through it.
Or even through sort of British fear of being rude and not taking some more.
Yeah.
Like you get yourself in a pickle there as well.
I think it's shameless if you leave food on the plate, to be honest. It's like there's not enough people with food to eat around the world. I
agree. Do you know what would be great? We'd say like Sunday roast like that where like you're incredibly full by the end of it. If at the end, you know, like at some restaurants they'll take your napkin and they'll put it sort of over your lap. Yeah? What would be really nice is at the end you just lean back and they just undo your top button. So you can just go,
Yeah.
That'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
That'd be nice, yeah. I might open up a restaurant just to make that a thing.
Yeah.
Top button, sir? Yeah, yeah, go on then.
Yeah. Would you like your top button done, sir?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what? That'd be lovely. Yes. Wonderful times. I had horrible order. Another new bit. I'd like to know, what are your worst orders you've had? Like, do you ever have this where you're sort of? So I went into Pure. It's at Waterloo Station, and you can get obviously food and stuff, and then the drinks are like to the left, right? So I ordered this. It was like this chicken, like healthy-ish chicken shawarma rice bowl thing, right?
That sounds good.
There was about 4 bits of chicken in it, by the way. It was a joke, and I got so confused with the woman. We almost had an argument because on the thing it says chicken shawarma, right? It says chicken shawarma. Okay, so if I order, it then says it has 2 circles, and it says for £1 more you can get spiced greens on top. Okay, and then next to that one it says for plus £2.50 you can get char grilled chicken.
So that's practically doubled the cost of your meal at that stage.
Well, so I go. So I'm just going. Do you want extras? Do you want toppings? And I went. I'll have the spiced green. I'll have the spiced greens. Yeah, go on. It's £1, whatever. Right. And they weren't spiced at all. It was rubbish. It was just like a little bit of cabbage. It was crap. Yeah. Right. But then I go.
But weren't worth £1.50.
Yeah, but I go right. I've ordered this chicken shawarma, but it's saying you can get chicken for £2.50. So if I order it without that, will I be getting any chicken in my chicken shawarma? Or do I have to get the additional chicken to have a chicken shawarma? And do you know what I mean?
Plus char grilled chicken on top.
But like, it's just extra chicken. Right.
You need to make sure that there is chicken in the original bowl.
And so that's what I'm saying. So I was like, there's chicken in the chicken shawarma. And she's like, she's like, "Are you ordering a chicken shawarma?" She didn't say yes. She went, "You're ordering a chicken shawarma." I went, "Yeah, but it says there you get chicken on top." She was like, "Do you want chicken on top?" She didn't even say on top. She want chicken. Do you want chicken? So I'm going, "Yeah, but is that so? I'm paying £8.50 for this chicken shawarma. I'm getting £1 extra for the spiced greens. Is it another am I paying him another £2.50? And if I say no to that, am I actually spending £10 on something that hasn't got chicken in it?" And she just couldn't understand what I was saying, right?
Jim, do you reckon that's the first ever conversation she's had?
I don't know
Of this
about that. Yeah, well, just like so, but like anything, right? If I order, right, it's like me going. It's like me going. Hang on,
All she's got to say is, it's extra chicken. That's all she's got to say.
That's all I needed. That's what you
needed.
But really, I don't. That shouldn't be offered. That shouldn't be available. The extra chicken. It should be, because it's like going. I can't think of an example, but it's like saying.
It's
so
like
it's like sausage and mash.
and then saying, "Can I have more bolognese?"
Yeah,
With
or,
extra sausage.
ketchup on it. It's a different thing. No, it's like getting. Do you want sausage and mash? Do you want sausage and mash? And for £2.50 more, you can get mash. That's what I was going through. And
yeah,
she just didn't help at all. Right. So I've ordered this thing, and then I turned to my left, and there's a sort of a fridge for like drinks and stuff. I don't know what I've done. I've panicked, and I've just seen an almond. Like an almond banana brown smoothie thing. And I've just grabbed it. And whilst it's in my hand, I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to be so thirsty when I finish this. Right? But it's too late. And I just want to get out of there.
You've done it.
So it's a terrible order. And I ate it all. I feel horrible now. I feel so sluggish now.
Jim, can I ask you a question? I don't know what the answer is to you, what you're about to say, right? But when I had like a little vegetarian fry up this morning. It's small, it's expensive for what it is, especially where I live. And
you went out for it.
Well, I had to go and get my hair cut. So thanks for mentioning, by the way. I needed time to kill. And I thought, well, let me get some breakfast. I'm hungry. But I got there that everything was overcooked. The eggs were not runny. The sausage wasn't. And I sat there furiously eating this fry.
That's how I felt about chicken shawarma.
Furious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I did?
What?
I got up and went, "Thanks, that was lovely. Bye." Just walked out. That's what I did. I'm still angry about it.
What else are you supposed to do? What on earth? What's on earth there?
I was like to me, if you come over here and ask me if everything's all right, you better fucking not, because I'm gonna go, "Yes, it's lovely."
yeah, that's annoying. Well, do you know what? Fam showed a bit of backbone. Fam bought a bit of coffee cake or something, and it was £4.50, and they gave her the slice, and the slice was it was tiny, so she went, "That's not enough." She just went flat. "That's not enough." Just held her own.
What did they say?
I think the girls knew, so she spoke to her boss, and their boss went, "Yeah, that isn't enough. That isn't enough." But then it was terrible when she got home, which was a massive disappointment. As well, that was the thing. The kicker with the chicken shawarma, right? So I started eating the chicken shawarma. I swear to God, there's 3 bits of chicken in this thing, little ones, and it's dry. I'm fuming.
Where did you eat? I don't know why I want to know this, but how far from?
I was on the
did
train.
You have a little bowl and you was eating with knife and forks on a train, or did you have just a fork and a hand?
Fork, just fork and
a hand. Yeah,
I've got the tray. Right. You got the tray of the train, haven't you? I got the tray of the train.
Hey, yeah.
But then I had I had this sort of protein. It was a disaster. So yeah, if you've had a nightmare order, I would like to hear that. So if there's anything funny there. A huge crumble from Allcourt, absolutely. Jim's like a mum at Subway. Yeah. Yeah, I can't imagine how difficult that must be for
I took we were hungry out with the kids the other day, and with the missus as well. I went to Subway. It cost £48 for 4 Subways.
Really?
Like, you go eat in a restaurant for less than that. Outrageous.
Yeah, that's mad. Have you found that? So I remember when I first would try a Subway, or the same with we regularly get sushi from the same place. I remember the first time
how many Subways you?
Well, so I remember when I first started having Subways, like to get through a footlong would be like so difficult. It was like
Really?
yeah. But now, like, I don't know if it's like it's not even like a fullness thing, but it's just kind of getting used to a takeaway. Like you can put more away. Like I can put more and more sushi away these days. But
That
anyway.
is possibly the most middle class thing I've ever had. I can knock back some sushi. How many rolls of sushi are we eating in one sort of takeaway? 6, 7,
What is it?
8, 9?
4, 8. 16 and a bit of sashimi.
You're eating 16 bits of sushi.
good
That
stuff.
seems like a lot.
It's good stuff. It does seem like it just sound like a lot. It does sound like a lot. But anyway, what we got that's not a couple of more new bits and mind blown epic reframes. Right, hang on. Nicknames. I feel like we might have done this before, but I'm just gonna read it out anyway. LS Scar, new bit. Not sure if it's been a bit before, but unnecessary nicknames. Had a guy in our Sunday League team who we nicknamed Pamps. Because someone one day decided that he wore Pampers nappies everywhere. Shit.
Did you hear the one I saw on TikTok? There was a geezer called Netflix because his name was Dudum. So they called him Netflix. That's quality.
It's longer, isn't it?
Dudum.
Nice.
And also, the geezer who had one leg shorter than the other and he walked with his head would wobbled side to side, so they called him the Sniper's Nightmare.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
Mind
give us
blown.
your nicknames.
Yeah,
Go on.
unnecessary nicknames is good. Mind blown. Someone else wrote a comment saying that like he's called Matthew, and he's always been called Matt, and then he went somewhere and they started calling him Thew. The shortened it. Yeah, Thew. There's just a second bit.
You. That's weird.
That's weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
All right. Mind blown. Mr. Squeets. Mr. Squeets. That sounds funny. Point of contention regarding the UK driving direction. We spoke about this last week in terms of why in the UK we drive on the left. The idea was that it was due to fencing, I think, right? Not fencing. What's the thing where they run at each other with a horse?
What is that called?
Jousting.
Jousting, that's right. Yeah.
Regarding UK driving direction, they're saying that was on the left-hand side because that's how that was done. This guy says it actually comes from horse and cart days where drivers would hold their reins in their right hand and they would use their whip in their left hand, which was a precursor to the future wheel and gear shift configuration.
That's bullshit.
Is that bullshit? Mate, I feel like I want to call that.
I'm calling that. It's bullshit / boring.
Yeah, the comments were. I didn't have a lot of time for the comments this week, sadly, because we've been busy. But no big Jim Laughord or Jim Big Laughord. No. Epic reframe. Peter Carroll. Okay, so this is. I'll touch on this quickly. So James overrates Trent massively and doesn't want to rate Evan Ferguson fairly. Could you imagine criticising a striker scoring a hat-trick because it was too easy? Too easy, really. Why aren't all strikers banging hat-tricks every match if it's so easy for an overhyped 18-year-old? Bad takes abound. What I would love people to do is to listen to what I'm saying. Okay? So I'll say this one last time and we won't touch on this again, right? And if you go back and watch it, it's very clear. I'm not talking about if he's good. I think he's great. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the hat-trick and the hat-trick alone. Okay? Did Casemiro have a good game yesterday for Man United, Flav?
I didn't watch it.
Okay. The general consensus was that Casemiro didn't have the greatest of games, right? Scored two goals. He scored two goals. Scored two goals.
That sounds good.
Scored two goals. Now, open your minds a little bit, guys, and just listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the 3 goals, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. I'm saying 2 of those goals, one was a wild deflection. Another one was one where it was disappointing from Nick Pope and it just fell to him and he tapped it in. Okay, so 2 of those 3 goals were goals that should not have happened, and that's why I was saying the hat trick in isolation was mid. I wasn't saying he was mid. I was saying that was mid. But what I was saying is that if you then go from that and that alone, that hat trick and that hat trick alone, and suggest that he's a world beater, you're an idiot. Right?
If you're rating hat tricks from 1 to 10, that would be 10. It's not to say it isn't impressive. You're impressive by being in the club. It's just as far as hat tricks go, that was a shit one.
What I'm saying is,
Shit hat trick.
No, I'm saying the hat trick was the hat trick was
Average
the hat trick was an average. It was a mid hat trick, right? But that's got nothing to do with what I think about him as a player. Two different things. I think he's a very, very clearly an awesome player. I'm saying the hat trick was average. Okay.
Yeah.
Sloshy asteroid. I just wanted to get your take on this quickly, Flav. Pundit Patrol. Any thoughts on Theo Walcott as a pundit on Sky? Probably be doing the North London Derby, won't he? Good to see them adding an up-and-coming player to their roster of up-and-coming pundits. I'm sure he will be shuffled off to be in sports eventually. He'll be a bit aggy, won't he?
He's very articulate. That's the thing. He talks about football in an articulate way, so I can understand it.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to seeing? Will he be on the wind-up trying to showcase some kind of personality, or will he have a desire to be fair? Which way will he lean?
Well, punditry isn't that about being fair now, is it? It's about saying the sound bites that can be clipped up and used, basically. So I wouldn't expect him. I mean, that's essentially my currency, not people clipping it up by saying things that are sort of irritating.
Right.
Like, I understand. If I listened back to this podcast and I was an Arsenal fan, I'd think that geezer's a prick. 100%.
I would disagree. I think he's made a lot of good points. Selena Gomez, you spoke about this last week, Flav.
Yep.
So this is at Glenn Hoddle. The Glenn Hoddle. Wow.
Yeah.
I did a video with Glenn Hoddle because BT Sport sort of gave us the opportunity, right? And I remember they thought I was going to get 5 minutes with him, but I worded the questions in quite a clever way. So I got about 8-9 minutes with him. And I did a little trick if you're interviewing someone and people going, wrap it up. And I'll go final question. And it's kind of 2 questions. and then you get 2 questions out of it. Anyway, I did that. But I remember you said you were trying to do a documentary or something on this player that was like a Spurs player that was like hard as nails. I can't remember who it was. And I said, "Oh, sorry, just quickly, could I ask you about?" And I said the name of this player, and he went, "No, you can't."
Yeah.
Gave me his mic and walked off.
That was I can't remember that was making. Yeah, I know. Okay. He'd had enough. But you got your answers. You got more minutes.
Yeah,
you got more
I did. And I respect him for it. On Flav's comments about Selena Gomez at Inter Miami. I coach youth football out here in the States. I'm originally from England. I can't tell you how loud the cheer is from parents when a kid on their own team humps the ball 40 yards out of their own box, let alone some of the shouts of kick it and my personal favourite, hustle. At my first ever Sporting Kansas City game, there were fans pulling out replica yellow cards whenever the referee issued one. I quite like that. And they had a chant about barbecue. Barbecue.
Right.
It was.
I want to know what that we're not sort of
culture
punching
clash.
down.
It's a bit of a culture clash.
Yeah, culture clash. Right. American fans listen to this. What's the worst thing as an American fan you appreciate? No. I wish they'd stop that. Let us know. Only American fans, not English fans.
Okay. What we could do, and we could call that what this next comment's about is it's called crow's feet. So Sedge988 says, loving the show. As an Australian, this is sort of an English equivalent of the grade cricketer, which is something I've heard before. So there's a podcast called Grade Cricketer. I think are they the guys who did the turning off, bro? Do you remember that? Is that them?
No, I can't remember what that's called. Okay. Give us a whistle. Give us a whistle when it's off, bro.
Yeah.
Bro.
Shut it down, bro.
Shut the stream down, bro. Is it down? Is it gone? Is it gone?
Yeah, just
shut it down, bro.
It's on you now, man. It's on you now, man. Get it done.
Get it done. Oh, thank God.
Oh, by the way, I'm watching American Traitors. Australian Traitors. There's this show called Traitors. I love the accent. It's really good. But what is incredible, and I don't know if anyone else is watching this series, there's basically like 12, or like there was 20 people at one point, right? And you've got 3 traitors who no one knows who the traitors are, and they're trying to find out who the traitors are, right? And we're now getting down to the last like 6 or 7 people, right? 3 of which are traitors. And there's this bloke who's British in this Aussie series, and he's called Paul. He looks like he's in his 60s, right? But he has been, honestly, watch it for this alone. He has been utterly edited out of the whole thing. So much so that you do votes. You do votes at this banishment thing, right? You never see or hear from him. You'll only see the side of his head at a like in an in a group bit, and the only bit you see of him the whole episode, every episode, is Paul goes, "I'm going to vote for Matt." And that's it. That's all you ever see. He's been completely taken out of it, and I can't understand why. I don't know. I've watched 17 hours of the show, and I don't know who this dude is apart from the fact that he's called Paul. It's mad, and I need to know if anyone knows why he's been cut out of it. Someone explain to me.
Is it called The Traitor?
The Traitors. It's an amazing show. Great format. Such a good format.
Hang on. I've seen the British one with it has.
It had Claudia Winkleman.
I've always had a thing for Winkleman.
Did you? I shared a cinema with her.
Still
once.
do. Really?
So yeah. Anyway, that's I'm enjoying that show. But if someone can explain what the fuck's going on with this Paul guy and why I don't know who he is. It's like imagine the Bake Off. Imagine watching the Bake Off. You know they do little VT backstories on people. And there's one of them you just didn't have.
Yeah.
It's that. It's mad. Anyway, so from this Grade Cricketer podcast, he said he'd like to suggest you adopt a bit that they do called What's Giving You Crow's Feet? Crow's feet being when something is so wrong or weird that you involuntarily squint, causing crow's feet like wrinkles next to your eyes. As an Aussie who has followed Big Ange since his tenure as Australia under-17 coach, listening to Gary Neville on commentary criticising his use of inverted fullbacks and calling it naive and something only Pep can do, gave me massive crow's feet. So
nice.
So there's a new bit. Crow's feet. What's making you... It's a little bit like no, isn't it? But maybe a bit weirder than that.
No.
No. Right.
No.
Unwritten rule. We'll finish with that. Hang on. Oh, actually, this made me chuckle. Sorry, this is ball rolling to you in the park. Let's do this quickly. Owen Charles, I was out on a run a while ago when a ball rolled towards me while the group continued to play with their spare ball. A guy probably slightly older than me in his 30s looks over and shouts, "Yes!" in my direction. Like a sick... Yeah, that's better.
That isn't it?
That was so much better than my yes.
That was it, wasn't it? Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. It's not even a question, is it? Yes.
Yes.
I can't do it.
I want it. Yes.
Very good. Oh yeah. Anyway,
just quickly before you go back to that, just on because you can't go back to it afterwards. When you're playing five-a-side with football, why, especially when this happened in London with Cockneys, is suddenly when you're playing, you could be called Gareth or Gary outside of it. Soon as we started playing, Gal, go on, Gal, yes. Like before, but after the game, all right, Gareth, that was a good game, or Gary, that was a good game, well played. As soon as he's going, Gal, ball, Gal, bow. Funny. It's weird. I don't know what happens to men when they go on the five-a-side pitch.
I'm bad for that myself. I go a bit Cockney.
All right, all Cockney, all Cock.
Yeah, you fucking what, you little fucking what? You get fuck out of my face.
Well, I'll fucking punch you in your fucking throat, mate.
Yeah. Grabbing his fucking throat. Like a sitcom character, I looked behind me, then back at him, and then pointed at myself. Point at myself. Yeah, please. I can't do it now. Yeah, please. Again, I can't say yeah, please. Yeah, please. How is he saying it, Flav? You say it. Yeah, please. I am no footballer.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Yes, please.
Yes, please. That's better, isn't it? I'm no football player at all, but I stayed calm, opened the hips up nicely, and side-footed the ball perfectly in his path. The weight on it was sublime. I felt like Prime Ozil. I ran around the park 3 times, having a little glance over at my new best mate each time. He didn't look back, and what was a massive achievement for me obviously meant nothing to him. I remained both parts proud and embarrassed about how much it meant to me.
That's good work.
2 quick unwritten rules, and we'll finish off with the Samism. SeaWorld, he says, if you printed T-shirts calling for the sacking of a club manager, you're not allowed to celebrate or enjoy any success that manager ends up bringing to the club. Just wanted that out there and official. And Finn FN, unwritten rule. This is mental, right? If a guy ever mentions that he is at half mast or that he is hard, because that happens. Oh, I hate that. I hate
Oh,
that.
just
Sorry,
Jim,
I've just come.
half mast. Half mast at the moment, Jim.
Imagine that tube. Just race onto the tube. Oh, I'm hard.
Oh god, this half mast. The other semi-lob on.
No. Oh,
No.
no.
Look at that.
Do you know what?
Jesus.
Can I tell you very quickly, a heartbreaking moment? I was at QPR on Saturday. It was really hot, so I was wearing shorts. And I needed a wee. And I was having a wee, and I was like, oh, there's a bit of spray here, which you don't normally feel because you've normally got trousers on.
Yeah,
And so I'm
you've got a
trying to
bit of
get
spray on your leg.
I'm trying to get my angle right, and I just about got it right, and also got my intensity right. And then some bloke just rocks up next to me, and just basically just went to town on my leg. It was horrific.
Was it going?
But I can't get out. Do you know what I mean? I can't
On
get
your
out.
urinals.
Like it's like I'm handcuffed because I'm weeing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I can't just stop. Because I need to get it out and quicker, but I can't go quicker because if I go quicker, I'm going to spray myself. It was horrible.
Yeah. Women won't know this, but there are some urinals that are designed horrendously, and when you're pissing, you can, especially if it's a vigorous piss, because there's another thing for women. There are different degrees of strength for piss, and you never really know whether it's going to be a really strong one or a dribbler. Sometimes I'm like, oh. I thought it was going to do better than that. So there's some of these urinals that just spray back, and if you've got shorts on, you feel the full effect. Jimmy, I would say that if I saw you and you was having a piss, I would go just to see, because like anyone who's relatively well known or famous, you're like,
Don't do that.
I wonder what their piece looks like.
I find myself feeling a bit more nervous about it these days due to the exact that fact. Exact that fact?
I used to go football. I used to go football, and I'd be having a pee, and every now and then you'd go, "Get your cock out, Flav."
The fighting cock. Let's see it.
Get your cock out. Let's have a look at your cock.
Anyway,
I hope the neighbor.
If a guy ever mentions that he is at half mast or that he is hard, you must glance down and have a little look.
Yeah, of course.
Is an unwritten rule, because
Natural.
reason being, it would be weirder to maintain full eye contact after they've said this, whether they are completely serious or making a joke. You can even disguise your glance if you like. However, it won't be of too much use to you, as they will always notice your glance, something that they are content with, as they also prefer you to have a peek. What am I reading? To peek rather than the tension that will be created by just looking back into their eyes and laughing. This person wrote this. He typed this out and then pressed send.
I rate it. I wonder if he just goes, should I? Ah, fuck it. Go on.
Well, Finn FN, could you give me a bit of backstory on this? Like, when's this happening? Oh, I've got an erection, lads. All right, boys, that was good. Tough week, yeah. Can't you see? I've got an erection.
I'm rock hard, yeah.
Yeah, everything all right with this is obviously not. I'm hard right now. Man.
Yeah, I'm really hard.
Finish up with this Amazon. Charlie Holman. I had a real Amazon at work today. I'm a primary school teacher, and one of the TAs was talking about needing to support the kids in the playground. She said, I think they need some independence out there. They don't need us breathing down their throat 24/7. Little part of me lit up knowing that what had just happened and nobody else picked up what she had just said. Breathing down their throat. There you go.
Good. Yeah.
Right. Good luck, everyone. This week.
Cheers.
Yeah. Hope it goes well, Flav. Hope it goes well.
Well, if it doesn't, it's one of them things.
Embryonic, isn't it? Embryonic.
Embryonics that you can't dig out a baby because it's a fucking baby. You can't criticize a baby.
We're gonna dig out a baby.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah, the baby is new to the world, right? It's new. So what kind of arsehole criticizes a baby? It's mad.
Yeah. If they win the game, leak.
Look, it's starting. Like if you look, right. Just to end on this, if we beat Arsenal and Liverpool, we're going to have to start thinking about not could we, but just obviously.
Do you know? Obviously, it's just obviously. I love that. Okay. I mean, I tell you, what I will say to you, mate, because and I know you don't want to hear it.
We're obviously not going to do that, but
Obviously not. What I was, mate, I don't see you beating them. So if you beat them, it's on. It's on.
my gut feeling.
I tried to do I tried to do side camera there. It didn't work. Heartbreak.
Never mind.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Gut feeling is it's going to be difficult for us to do it. They are an excellent side, and I'm not expecting us to go there and win because we don't win there, and it's difficult to go there. Very few teams go to the Emirates and win. So no, there's no expectation from us. There's no pressure from Tottenham. There's zero pressure on Tottenham going into this game. Zero.
You can't dig out.
So
baby.
if we do, Jesus, wow.
Then what? Then
not,
what?
wow.
Do you know it's not? It's not. If you beat Arsenal, it's not. Could they? It's then what?
Now what, eh?
Now what? Yeah.
Now what?
I mean, are we?
We're not
Are
even
we?
planning for this season.
Are
No
we
one's
winning?
talking about this.
Are we winning the league here? That's.
We're talking about what was talking about is we could get in the Champions League places next year. The end of next season, we should be looking at a top 4 spot.
Ahead of schedule. Ahead of schedule.
Clearly. I can't wait till we start subbing keepers mid-game.
Yeah, just for bants. Right. Have a great weekend. Lots of love. Join us on Patreon. Yeah, that would be great.